Did I choke my father? I didn't do it because I'm crazy, and it wasn't for show. I did it because I've been holding everything in for years. There are 3 things my father did that I can't forgive. First, he's been controlling me my entire life. Ever since I started I Am Legend at 7 years old, every outfit I wore, every haircut I got, every reaction caught on camera, he and his team had a say in it. I wasn't his daughter. I was just another part of his brand. I used to believe that being bold and expressing myself would make him proud. But instead, I got silence, judgment, and emotional distance. Second, he took away my right to choose my own life. At 17, I started creating my own music, my own art. I didn't want his approval anymore. I wasn't his project. I wasn't a piece of his career. I just wanted my own path. But he wouldn't let go. Every choice I made, he questioned. Every move turned into a fight. When I shaved my head, it wasn't a style decision. It was a protest. Even my hair, I didn't want him controlling it anymore. Third, he's never truly cared about me. Yes, I wanted his love. I used to imagine him in the crowd of my shows, clapping, smiling, cheering me on. But that moment never came. He was always chasing the next event, the next premiere, the next powerful person. He gave me fame, but never his presence. To the world, he's Will Smith. But in my world, he's been absent. So no, I didn't choke him out of hatred. I did it because I needed him to hear me. Because I can't keep living under his shadow. Do you think I should forgive him?
He's been controlling me my entire life. He took away my right to choose my own life. And he never truly cared about me. These are Willow Smith's words about her father, Will Smith. And I want to bring a little light, a little logic, and hopefully some perspective to this conversation. All right, so let's start here. First of all, even in nature, control is a form of care. When a lioness keeps her cubs close to her and close to the den, that's not oppression, that's protection. When an eagle pushes her young out of the nest, that's not cruelty. Even that is cultivation. Every creature in creation understands this law. Guidance just feels like restriction until wisdom arrives. Now, a father who built a global legacy from discipline and work ethic and turned his talent into a household name is not going to let his legacy be destroyed by someone in their careless emotion, behavior, their rebellion, or even their creativity that could have a bad look. And that's not control. That's actually called stewardship. Even poor parents are protective of what they have. Not out of greed, but out of dignity, right? My grandmother would say, don't walk through and put mud in the house. Don't put your feet on the furniture. She would have actually tell me don't get my own shoes dirty. I mean, and give me a whooping if I came home dirty. My shoes now. The ones you walk in on the ground. They would even protect things they didn't have. My grandmother would say, if we get inside this store, you better not ask for nothing. Right? Because she's trying to protect her own ego, her own reputation. She didn't want me to be in there crying and screaming for things that she couldn't afford, embarrassing her. You understand? She knew she couldn't afford it, so she already going through enough. So there's always going to be something. So, but Willow's complaining about having a rich lifestyle, and children everywhere go through something, let's be real. And worse if you ask me. Now I'm saying her pops is perfect, you know, but what we know from Will Smith as a peer and how she should see Will Smith is 2 totally different things. We're talking about a child talking about their father now and what he's done for them. Let's be real about this now. All right? So I'm going to say this. He's shielding her from embarrassment, himself from embarrassment. And that's the kind of control that love expresses when it's fighting to survive. And let me just say this real quick. He's even being controlled. You think these industry people who give you all this damn money and put you in front of a damn camera is gonna let you just walk around and behave any type of way, dress how you wanna dress? Nah, stars realize real quick that they are the biggest slaves. I'm telling you now. Somebody invest that much in you, they're going to control everything that they can. It's just what it is. But see, these days, children are taught that independence means separation. They think they don't owe their parents or the world anything. They think that they are actually owed because they didn't request to be here. But that's the opposite though. In nature, every species contributes to the collective. The wolf hunts for the pack, the bee gathers for the hive. So again, it's the opposite that's true. You're in debt to your family or tribe, not that your family or tribe is in debt to you. So we're meant to build together through generation after generation. So when your father or your mother questions your choices, it's not that they don't care. It's because they care too deeply to watch you ruin what he bled for and what you're bleeding for. And as for the claim that he was too busy chasing greatness to be present, that he didn't care about her and things like that, please understand this. without his pursuit, there would be no wealth to be born into, no platform like what you have today, and no life of comfort for you to sit and critique like you're doing today. And so here's the thing. Parents' sacrifices are often invisible until you got to make those same sacrifices. And I love it because the universe is the greatest teacher, okay? In the end, she will get it. They'll always understand, my parents weren't as bad as they thought they were, right? But as children, they be having a horrible perspective of their parents, right? So what Willow and many children are expressing is generational blindness. They're viewing sacrifice as neglect, structure as control, and boundaries as abuse. I've seen this with Master P's son, 50 Cent's son, and fake Jamie Foxx's son, right? It's always some bullshit with these kids, right? And the parents who sacrifice to give them the world has to go through watching their children publicly humiliate them. You understand? It's wild. And so until they make those sacrifices themselves, become someone successful through hard work, sweat, and tears, and then try to raise somebody else up through that, they're not going to understand that. So again, they're viewing sacrifice as neglect, man, structure as control, or as abuse. But these are the same things that built a family's legacies and generations all through time. You understand? Maybe one day she'll understand that her father was trying to protect her name, her future, his name, his future, and their family legacy, not just his own. You understand? Because there's a saying that says parents will not always be right, but they're rarely wrong in why they teach. Now, I want to go back to something that Willow said. She said she cut her hair because her father was trying to control how she grows her hair, or how she was growing her hair. That's not what Will said, though. Here's what Will said. Check this out.
Will, talk a little bit about how family has affected your journey.
It was probably Willow's Whip My Hair. It's 2010. I'll never forget, we were in Dublin, Ireland. Willow comes off stage. She was on tour with Justin Bieber, hit record, 20,000 kids whipping their hair in Dublin. And she comes off stage and was like, "I'm done, Daddy." I was like, "Yeah, baby, that was a great show." She was like, no, I'm done. I'm ready to go home. And I was like, no, you can't go home, sweetie. You promised Mr. Jay-Z that you were going to do these 30 days of this tour. I said, "No, Daddy, you promised Mr. Jay-Z." And I was like, "Sweetie, I get it, but we promised as a family and you have to finish." And she looked at me. I'll never forget the look in her eyes. And she was like, "It doesn't matter to you that I'm finished, Daddy?" And I was like, "Well, yes, sweetie, it matters, but you can't be finished." And she was like, "Oh, okay." So we go back to the hotel, and Jada had just left, so I'm there. It's my first night of daddy duty. And she came out the next morning, and she had shaved her head bald. In the middle of her Whip My Hair tour, she shaved her head bald. And it was like a magical moment. I was like, got it.
Now, this man stayed being embarrassed by his family. That's all I got to say. He done made a promise to Jay-Z, and she don't understand at that age what a man's word mean and what his commitment to keeping his word means and how much money's tied up into all this stuff. She don't understand that. She's a little kid. You understand? But she still sees this and is speaking from an adult now, saying that he is being controlling when it came to her hair. No, he was telling you couldn't quit the tour, the one in which where he promised Jay-Z that you would complete 6 months of the tour. And I'm not taking sides, but from what Will Smith says, Willow, you sound rebellious. That's what it sounds like. You went and shaved your hair off because your father said you couldn't quit. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Without someone like your father putting you in position to be a star and be world famous, you don't have what it takes. See, having what it takes, it ain't necessarily something you always born with. Sometimes it's life and circumstances that give you what it takes. And see, Will done been poor before. He knows what it tastes like to be poor and not to be able to have the things that you want and desire, to want something greater. You don't understand that. And that's why you're ready to quit after one performance, man. And that's not how you become successful. Yeah, all of us want to quit sometimes. But when you got somebody to take care of, you can't quit. And not because your daddy said so, but because life says so. You can't never quit in this life. It's always going to be bills and overhead and things to take care of, so you can't never quit. You understand? And so she don't understand that, family. You understand? So what I'm trying to say is, she sounds rebellious. She even said that everything had to be with an argument. Why are you arguing with your pop? You ain't but 16, 17. When you 18, all right, fine, you got your independence, right? Go do your own thing, whatever the case may be. But what, you say you 17, 16, 15 when you arguing with your pops. Come on, man, that's crazy. And you don't see the things that he sacrificed for you. And then you say he didn't listen to your music and all this type of stuff because he was always trying to chase something better, another level of himself, another level of achievement, another great idea. Again, it's that stuff right there that makes you successful. And that don't mean he didn't love you or have time for you. It means he's busy. It just means that. I tell you this right here. Jamie know this. Growing up poor, your parents can be poor and you still rarely see them. Right. They ain't got time to listen to that song you wrote that you try to sing to them. They got to go to work. They work a 12-hour shift. They got to come home, cook for the family, wash clothes, clean up, because half the time we ain't do it. They didn't even let the meat out. like they asked us to do. You understand? They come home to a dirty house and we supposed to keep it clean. Right? So they got to come in behind us and do all that after they whoop our ass, right? Now they got to wake up and go right back in there tomorrow and pull that same shift again. Shit, they ain't got time to hear that shit.
Not at all.
Not at all. And that's a poor family. So you born into a rich one. And it gives me perspective because it's like, dang, nobody got it 100% perfect. Even these rich kids complaining. But as a poor child who grew up understanding the value of things by simply not having them and then having to work for them, Willow will never taste that. She'll never truly understand that. You understand? And really everything she's saying is coming from the person who's never had a child, who's never had poor parents that couldn't give her what she wanted. She had everything she wanted. And speaking of not listening to somebody's music, Willow, have you listened to your father's music? Willow, I'm talking to you now, all right? Will Smith made a song back in the day called Parents Just Don't Understand. Have you ever listened to this song? Because Will need to come out with a remix of this song right now called Children Just Don't Understand. But the song went like this, Willow. Will says, I remember one year my mom took us school shopping. It was me, my brother, my mom, my pop, and my little sister all hopped in the car. We headed downtown to the Gallery Mall. He says, my mom started bugging at the clothes she chose. He didn't say nothing at first. He just turned up his nose. Do you know what that's like, Willow? Somebody buying you clothes and they just horrible clothes, out of date, out of style, probably real cheap. You ever had that happen? He just turned up his nose. His mom says, what's wrong? That shirt costs $20. You ever had a $20 shirt, Willow? He said, Mom, this shirt is plaid with a butterfly collar. So the mom was like, this shirt is expensive. Talking about a $20 shirt. This shirt is expensive. He's telling her, Mom, it's out of date. Now you got to imagine his mom at that point, probably thinking, I had hand-me-downs. So she's probably thinking, this little bastard has been ungrateful. But in his mind, Mama, I'm going to get clowned in school for this outfit. So Will is, from this perspective, is saying parents, they don't get it. Because they're thinking with their purview, right? They don't get it. So, Mom, the shirt is plaid with a butterfly collar. The next half hour, the same old thing. My mother's buying me clothes from 1963, and then she lost her mind and did the ultimate. He said, I asked her for Adidas, and she bought me a Zit, so it's something that's so outdated, I don't even know the brand no more, right? But either way, he said, Mom, what are you doing? You will ruin my rep. Guess what she said? She didn't say, I understand, son. You know, I'm going to try to give you everything so you don't have to go through what I went through. Guess what she told him? You only 16. You don't have a rep yet. He said, Mom, please put these clothes back, please. And she said, no. You go to school to learn, not for a fashion show. Come on now. He said, Mom, I'm not wilding, but please put back them bell-bottom Brady Bunch trousers. But if you don't do it, I can live with that. But you got to put back the double mint reversible slacks. I don't know, some weird shit. Apparently it's some old clothes, all right? I'm going this off memory. I ain't looking up the lyrics now. That's how I used to sing it as a kid. But you got to put back the double mint reversible slacks. She wasn't with it. Everything stayed the same. He said that out of the blue, the first day of school came. He thought he could get over it, like get over on her and make her change her mind. And he even tried to play sick. But his mama said, no way, forget it. There was nothing he could do, he said. He tried to relax, but he got dressed up in those ancient artifacts. And when he walked into school, it was just as he thought. The kids was cracking up, laughing at the clothes mom bought. He said, and if they wasn't laughing, they still had a ball because they was pointing and whispering as I walked down the hall. He said he got home and told his mama how his day went. And she said, if they were laughing, you don't need them because they're not good friends. He probably expecting his mama to say, oh, I didn't know you was going to have to go through that, son. Let me get you some clothes that better suit this era, right? That better suit the style so you don't get picked at in school, right? That could cause, psychological issues, which it did. That's why he's working so hard now to give you the world, right? But anyway, where was I? If they were pointing whispering, I got home and told my mom how my day went. She said if they were laughing, you don't need them because they're not good friends. He said for the next 6 hours, I had to explain to my mom that I was going to have to go through this about 200 more times. Then he says, to tell you all the kids all across the land, there's no need to argue. Parents just don't understand. Don't even argue with them. Ain't nothing you can say. They don't hear you, right? Parents just don't understand. Now, so what Will has done is he's tried to give you everything he didn't have. And now what he's realizing is, like himself, kids are just ungrateful because they don't get it. You understand? So I think Will needs to write a remix, okay? Will, I remember one year I took my daughter school shopping. It was me, my ungrateful wife, my son, who don't know who he is or what he's doing. Oh, and my daughter. We all hopped in the car. We headed downtown to Louis Vuitton. My daughter started bugging at the clothes I chose. She didn't say nothing at first. She just turned up her nose. And I said, what's wrong, baby? This shirt costs $1 million bazillion. And she said, Dad, this shirt ain't gonna get me but about 200,000 more followers. You the artist, work it out, Will. But I promise you, I'm about that shit because I'm gonna understand you. I understand it because we see it all today in this world that children are ungrateful. After you've bled and given them everything you've never had, they still complaining. And it seems like the ones who you give fame are the ones complaining. Willow. Not that she's not talented, but we know it's hard to get on. And so because of a father like Will, her and her brother are now known. You understand? Okay, you got Master P's son, Lil Romeo. Man, he put his album out, produced it in his own studio. He didn't have to fight to get signed. 50 Cent's son, he ain't want for nothing. He online complaining about an allowance that most people don't even get paid for working their ass off after going to school. I'm talking about having a real skill. And this is what I think the world is seeing today is that, damn, no matter what you do for these kids, man, and not only are they going to disrespect the things that you've provided, they're going to do that shit online from their own perspective that lacks so much wisdom and experience, man. And that's why I'm grateful to the universe for being the greatest teacher, because in time, they'll have their own child, and they're going to have to raise and sacrifice for their own child. And that's when they'll start to get it. That's when they'll understand, man. Like, damn, I was really tripping on my pop. I went through those years too, tripping on my pop, mad at him, because I didn't understand life. I was mad at him for not being there when that man got to work. You understand? I was mad at him for being with another woman and her children living with him, and I didn't get to. But that's life. When it don't work out with the woman that you with, often more than not, you don't get to have the children grow up with you. The children that you ultimately end up raising is another woman's children if you marry a woman with kids. And the children on the outside looking in, on the inside looking out, I should say, your actual children, they often are jealous and feel envious and things of that nature. And that he ain't doing nothing wrong, it's just life. You understand? So I want people out there to understand that life is about stages. And what you don't understand now, you may full well understand it thoroughly tomorrow. So be wise with your words, because what you're saying could be destroying somebody who truly does love you and who truly was or is trying. All right? Put your thoughts in the comments. Peace.